Hello everybody, this is Dave the Rave roving the rock here again, and today I'm at Brodick Ferry Terminal car park. There's the terminal in front of me, just so you can see where I am. And I'm here for a reason. I've actually just left work, finished my shift, about to turn right, and looking at all these cars here, and came across this car, which is a Citroen chevaux. Citroen is it? Probably a different way of saying it in actual French. 2CV. Isn't it lovely? A lovely colourful car. Now, this is a local car, belongs to a couple that live in Corrie. It's always parked in Corrie, and I know the people that own it. It's in nice condition, the paint works very bright, and of course this is a design that dates from the Second World War. I think actually from memory it's just before the Second World War that it was first invented. This is a kind of a workhorse car, and it was made for many decades after that, even when I was a boy at school in the 70s, right through the 70s they were still making this car. The first thing I'd say about it is, if you look at the cars that are here, look at the colours of them. This is just a random sample, okay? Colourless. Every single car is colourless, okay? There's one at the end that's got some red in it, but they're just almost entirely black and white and grey, colourless cars. And that is normal, that's typical nowadays. I don't know why people have gone for colourless. I would call them soulless cars. So it's refreshing to see one where someone's made a real effort with the paint. It just looks great, it looks bright, it looks cheery, it looks like fun. And it's two-tone paint, of course. So that's the first thing I'd say about it. It doesn't have any fancy gadgetry like you've got nowadays. In fact, I have been in these cars before. It's got no fancy gadgetry whatsoever. If I look at the dashboard, I don't know if we can see that. I'll try. Well, maybe. It's basically just got a couple of buttons and a speedo. Oh no, it hasn't even got a speedo. Yes, it does. It's got a little speedo and a mileometer, and a button for windscreen wipers, and something that tells you how full the fuel tank is, and pretty much nothing else. It's got a gear selector on the dashboard, and then you've got the seats there. You've got a back row of seats here, and a boot with a spare wheel, and that's something that's missing on most cars these days, a spare wheel. And this is the 2CV Special. Another thing I would say about this car, it's got a soft top, which is fun in itself. Not many cars have got that, especially not utilitarian cars. This one, you just take the roof back, all the way back, over the front and the back seats, no problem, and drive it away. Isn't that an amazing thing for a car so old? The lights look like they've just been stuck on at the front, of course. Not quite optional extras, but probably quite fancy in those days, and indicators as well. The other thing I would say, I've talked to the couple that own this car, and electric cars are much heavier than the petrol and diesel equivalents that we've been driving for the decades up until now. They're about twice the weight. So you've gone from just over a ton, maybe a ton for a car, to a couple of tons. Too heavy to go on the mezzanine deck. Big heavy things. The driver of this car was telling me that sometimes the batteries doesn't have that much charge in it, but it's okay because the car just weighs just over half a ton, just over 500 kilograms, and in fact it's so light, he just sits in the driver's seat and the missus just gets out and gives it a wee shove with him in it, and then they're away, just on their own, no problem. And I'm not going to say what age they are, but I would say this: I get a bus pass next year, and they're both older than me. So that's no problem, you know, for her to do that at all. And there's the biggest difference. That's the funniest story for me. That's just a routine for them. If there's any problem with the car starting, she just gets out and gives it a wee shove and away it goes, and it's not a problem. It's just like that's their routine, because the car's so light. No electric windows or anything in this vehicle. So it's just nice. And I say it's just pure chance that I've come across this when I've been leaving, but I just think it's just such a lovely little car. You can't go very fast in it. And that's another nice thing in a way. You're going to have to take your time and then just enjoy the journey. And yeah, make the most of it instead of being in a rush the whole time. I'll just come round the other side here. There we go. Just lovely. Such a nice car. Plain wheels as well. None of your fancy alloys in this thing. I love it. Okay, that's my thoughts for today. Citroen 2CV. Cheers. Dave the Rave. End of rave.